Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's show. I'm your host, Zach Drew.
And I'm Andrew Bellers.
We have some amazing content prepared for you today. It's going to kind of be multi-topical.
Yeah.
Multi-topics today. It's going to be the first few minutes is going to be about technology and cryptocurrencies. It's going to be really important. Maybe you know absolutely nothing about cryptocurrencies, and you absolutely need to, because they're going to be a part of your future.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to be talking about, the Super Bowl was several days ago, but we didn't get into the total Marxist overtones that were displayed at the Super Bowl, and we're going to be talking about that today and why that's important and why they even are so strategic with the institutions they want to infiltrate, like the NFL. And we're hoping to be able to get to the last section of today's show, which is all about Disney's The Mandalorian.
That's
right. So we're going to be talking about all of those things. I'm already 1 minute and 5 seconds in, so I don't want to spend a great deal of time on this. But as you know, I always want to be transparent before the audience, because I know that in the world of television, Christian television, people aren't always transparent. And it can get people into trouble. And even being transparent in the sense of whenever you have a need, just say it. Mm-hmm. Don't try to hide it, just tell it what it is. So first off, as you know, we had an absolute miracle of God in December. Yeah. We were able to raise all of our funds for the year of 2021 as far as all of our television needs go. It was an expansion fund, if you will, because we believe that will grow our audience. I've actually been getting some letters from people that are watching on CTN now. One individual that gave last week, he said, "Zach, it's about time." And I laughed in my car. I said, "He's absolutely right. It is about time. I'm glad to finally be on." But I said several times while we were raising that money that none of that is intended for, our salary or the day-to-day operations.
Right.
So a miracle took place, but that money is accounted for.
Yeah.
And I've said it many times for those of you who watch the show. The reason we can continue, Andrew continue, I continue, the basic needs of the ministry is based off of monthly recurring partners that stand with us on a monthly basis. That is how you plan for the future.
Yeah.
So in the spirit of transparency, to be transparent, I want to let you know that we have about 5, and I'm not going to mention them by name, obviously, 5 different givers that give a substantial amount each month. Substantial is relative, but it is a substantial amount to us. Most people give $25 or $50, and that's amazing. That's what we need to happen. We need it to be in numbers. We don't have to have the select few. But I want to let you know that of the 5, 3 of them currently, because of life or because of different circumstances, cannot do it right now. One man was giving $400 a month, and he's now retired. So it's gone. Just being transparent. This is what it takes to, keep going forward. One couple gave towards the TV fund, and which is amazing. So grateful for that. But because of that, they're not able to give for the next few months. They gave $500 a month. And then another one, a family issue came up, and they're not going to be able to give for the next 10 to 12 weeks, and they were giving $300. So 3 of our 5 biggest monthly donors cannot give for the next few months. That's $1,200 a month. So I'm just going to let you know that if you want to become a monthly recurring partner, we would really appreciate it right now. And I want to say this as well. If nothing comes in, I've put aside, by wisdom of those who have done this before me, I have about $10,000 in the account for an emergency fund. So we'll have to dip into that, and that's okay. I understand that. That's why it's there. We'd rather not do that, though.
Right.
And just have more people get behind us on a monthly recurring way. So technology, cryptocurrencies, the Marxist Super Bowl, and Disney's The Mandalorian. All of that on today's show. If you want to donate, go to zachdrewshow.com. It's on the screen. Click the bright orange donate button and click that monthly recurring button, or write us at IGBY, which stands for I Go Before You, at P.O. Box 797, Decatur, Illinois 62525. First topic on today's list is technology, specifically cryptocurrencies. There was an article that was released this week because of what was realized this week, according to Tesla's 10K annual report with the SEC, is that Tesla, the electric car making company, valued at almost $800 billion, I almost said million, $800 billion, is to now accept Bitcoin as payment in near future after a $1.5 billion investment.
That's huge.
So Tesla says it has invested $1.5 billion in the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. The electric car manufacturer filed its annual 10K report with the SEC this morning and revealed the new Bitcoin investment. Tesla says it will also begin accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment for our products in the near future. So for those of you that don't know anything about cryptocurrencies, I know I don't know an incredible amount, but I know more than the average individual.
Yeah, more than the average bear.
That's right. Like I said before in the previous shows, I did a lot of traveling to different places in the United States, overseas. We studied blockchain technology, the cryptocurrencies. You know, I started studying Bitcoin whenever it was $2,000 and something dollars. And, you know, now it was, I don't know what it is right now, but it reached over $48,000 a coin this week. There are over 4,000 cryptocurrencies, though. So this is just basic 101, because a lot of people think, oh, cryptocurrency, isn't that Bitcoin? Well, actually, there's over 4,000 different cryptocurrencies. And Bitcoin is just the biggest one. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and, you know, the list goes on and on. But this is absolutely huge news that Tesla did this. This establishes cryptocurrency even more. It validates it in the world's eyes because, let me stop right there, because it's Elon Musk. As of January 7th, he is now listed as the world's richest man. He was in second place for a long time with Bill Gates. He's passed Jeff Bezos now of Amazon. He's the richest man in the world. And he is a fanatic over Bitcoin and Dogecoin, okay? Dogecoin too. So watch out for that. I think I want you to know right now that I am not a financial advisor in any way, shape, or form. This is just my opinions. But I think that he'll, in the next year or 18 months, he'll make some type of deal with Dogecoin as well. Yeah. Which is currently sitting at like 6 cents, and I bet you it'll go up to $1. But anyway.
But this is crazy because really nobody, especially on the scale of Tesla, nobody's doing this.
Exactly.
And this is a huge step forward.
That's right, yes. And so, like I said, it's validating it. Bitcoin right now has nearly a $1 trillion market cap. $1 trillion. In 2019, nearly 40 million Americans owned some form of cryptocurrency. That's the latest data that's been released, is 2019. And it had been growing by 80% each year. And I'm telling you right now that cryptocurrencies are more popular in 2021, February, right now, than they were in 2019. Yeah. And simply if the pattern continued, right now there is likely over 60 million Americans that own some form of cryptocurrency. That's wild. Yeah. You know, it's like these hidden trends, so many people go on with their normal regular life, and they have no idea what's really happening at the root of American society. It's such a monumental thing that 60 million people are investing in America alone into a currency, not precious metals. Actually, it was shown last year that more people own cryptocurrency in America than gold.
That's crazy, because that means that people's confidence has shifted from the material to what is immaterial, to the digital coin.
That's right. And it's going to be used, it'll be used in the ends of times, and we're going to get into that. But why do people own cryptocurrency? Well, according to Finder, using the coin as a form of investment is the most common reason the vast majority of people choose to invest into crypto. So much so, it's the reason cited by 61% of our respondents who say they own cryptocurrency. Transaction payments are the second most common reason for using crypto, right at 29.3%, followed by wanting to store their savings. This is such a huge line. Understand what this means. Wanting to store their savings outside of a traditional bank at 25.6%. 60 million Americans, crypto, and over 25% are investing it because they don't trust the American banking system. They don't trust the dollar.
Yeah.
And as the dollar becomes more unstable into these dark times that we have entered,
and it will
as a nation.
I mean, look at our debt. It's insurmountable.
That's right. That's right. And I think a question that needs to be asked is, what will be the currency of the last days?
Yeah.
It won't be the dollar. It won't. I firmly believe that for a new world order to come about, in which an antichrist, the son of perdition, would rule the world, that can't happen. I sound like a broken record. I say this all the time. That can't happen with a strong America. It can't. Yeah. So America has to diminish for there to be something else that is birthed from those ashes, so to speak, which would be a new world order. And it's not going to be the dollar. I highly doubt that it's going to be the dollar. You know, let me read a couple of scriptures for you. The scriptures tell us that Satan will give the Antichrist, the beast, his power and great authority, and that the world would follow him and worship him. That's Revelation 13, 2 and 4. It says this: the dragon gave the beast, the Antichrist, his power and his throne and great authority. One of the heads of the beast seemed to have had a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. The whole world was filled with the wonder and followed the beast. People worshiped the dragon because he had given authority to the beast. And they also worshiped the beast and asked, who is like the beast? Who can wage war against the beast? Listen, if in the end the government consists of a totalitarian rule by a singular sovereign over the world's nations, in that day, currency wouldn't have to be backed by anything. Do you understand? It wouldn't matter if it was or not. They can just set the price. In that type of system, they could. They can just set it to whatever they want it to be. It has nothing to do with intrinsic value, like our dollar isn't backed by gold. But the reason that's carrying our dollar is perceived value.
Yeah.
Simple faith in the dollar. If the American people lose faith in the dollar, then the dollar is worth nothing. It is literally guaranteed by nothing but perceived value. But in the end days, the cryptocurrency doesn't have to be backed by gold or silver. If the sovereign Antichrist is over the entire earth, it doesn't matter. That doesn't have to have perceived value.
Yeah.
I mean, if judgment would be in the end times like it was in the book of Ezekiel, they threw out their gold and silver in the streets as if it was trash. It was worthless. It meant nothing. It was just, material of some sort.
And that's how it's going to be.
That's right. That's right. In Revelation 13, verse 16 and 17, it says this: also it causes all, both great and small, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead. So we talk about the mark, okay? But this is what I want to focus on. So that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. So we can conclude that by controlling what people throughout the entire world buy and sell, they have complete control over commerce, which would be impossible without a global currency, which would be impossible outside of technology, and in my opinion, which would be impossible outside of the totally digital ledger of transactions most easily accomplished by cryptocurrency. So you need to understand what's going on in the crypto world. And so we'll just continue giving you updates as these things progress. Now, if you're investing in crypto, it's not evil. Mm-hmm. If you thought that the Antichrist system would use the dollar, well, are you still using the dollar? Because a lot of you believe it's going to be the dollar, but you're still using it. So it's like, if you really believe that, you thought it was bad, then don't use it, right? I mean, so it's cryptocurrency. Yeah. I have a stake in cryptocurrency. I've been somewhat involved in cryptocurrency for years and years. So yeah, and I don't think that the end times currency, if it is a cryptocurrency, I don't think it's a cryptocurrency that's been created yet.
Right.
They're going to design it, create it with its own blockchain to utilize for their best, interests.
Yeah, and they'll destroy even the idea of competition. They'll create it. It hasn't been created, and they'll completely wipe out any other cryptocurrency that exists.
That's right. All right, let's move on to topic number 2. The Marxist Super Bowl of 2021, Super Bowl 55. I want to read to you the tweets of Mina Harris, which is the niece of Kamala Harris, a militant Marxist liberal.
Yeah.
She tweeted concerning the Super Bowl. Her tweets, this is why I'm mentioning her tweets, because her tweets are a microcosm for what the woke left represent today. And we're talking about it because what the woke left represents today is anti-God, ultimately.
Yeah.
And we're talking about it because the woke left has infiltrated many of our churches.
Yes.
So let's read tweet number 1. Team with racist name versus team with Trump supporting star player. Did I get that right? She's obviously referring to the Kansas City Chiefs and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So the filter in which she watched the game is the team. It wasn't just a football game. It wasn't the Super Bowl. The filter she used was, okay, yeah, so I'm watching the racist team versus the team with a Trump supporting star player. Did I get that right? And then the next part is important because they always have demands. They always have demands that whenever you meet those demands, it is never, ever, ever enough.
That's right.
That's what needs to be made clear. Her demands. For the people telling me to lighten up, because she got some flack for saying that, maybe I'll consider it after the NFL denounces white supremacy and apologize strictly to Colin Kaepernick. But would it really be enough? No. And just understand that they're taking the most American things we have and Marxizing them. I'm making up that word to make it a Marxist thing. Understand that they're going after the NFL. They're going after the NBA because that's where people are. You have nothing more American than NFL, right? They're not going after tennis. They're not going after soccer. Because nobody really watches those. They're not going after them because that's not Americana. Mm-hmm. It's in the same fashion that when former President Barack Obama was the commander in chief, he tried to liberalize the military, transgenders, making new rules for sexual orientation, who can be in, who can be out. Because what he was doing was strategic. And that was actually one of the very first things he tried to go after in his presidency, was because he was taking one of the most conservative institutions in the American mind, that of the military. And he knew that if he could change the most conservative thing in America, he could change it all.
Yeah.
That's why he went after the military. Mm-hmm. That's why the Marxists go after the NFL. That's why they go after the NBA. That's why they go after these things, because they understand the power in disintegrating the values within the minds of those who watch things like the NFL and the NBA.
Well, because it's cultural warfare. I mean, they're trying to completely transform the culture into the counter culture, And then the next step is just the government. But once you transform the mind of America, the culture of America, then the systems of power will fall very easily.
That's right. So I want to take a look at several, because I want to show you that Mina Harris had her demands. And my goodness, did the NFL go far beyond her demands, so to speak?
Yeah.
It's never going to be enough. But before we look at those articles quickly, quick overview of what Marxism is. Marxism is comes from Karl Marx, the father of communism. So Marxism is a type of, it's a philosophy. And so if you are a follower of Marx, you are a follower of that type of Marxism. So today we have something that's kind of morphed into what is referred to as cultural Marxism.
Yeah.
So in cultural Marxism, it's always about class warfare. It's always about pitting the bourgeoisie against the proletariat, the bourgeoisie, the ruling class against the oppressed. Now, in Marxism, the bourgeoisie consists of what's referred to as the cultural hegemony, okay? The cultural hegemony is made up, you're the enemy in Marxism, okay? If you are a white, male, American, straight, cisgendered, able-bodied Christian. If you are any of those things, you are the enemy in that area. God forbid you are all of those things, then you are the epitome of evil in America.
That's us.
Well, we're kind of fat, so I don't know if we're able-bodied.
I mean, we're on our way.
Yeah,
we're on the track.
I've lost almost 32 pounds.
Yeah.
And
I've lost 11 last time I checked.
the furniture is thanking us. So if you are any of those things, you're the enemy in Marxism. Those things must become less so everything else can become more. And what they label it as is the intersections of your oppression.
Yeah.
So if you're not one of those 7 things, let's say you're not male. And so, well, what else is there? There's female. So if you're female, not male, you have one intersection of oppression. If you are not white, but you are brown, well, now you have 2 levels of oppression, so on and so speak. So, okay, so with that in mind, only what they deem as the oppressed is ever represented because they want to destroy America. Let's just go through the list. Watch. Super Bowl 55 kicks off with the Black National Anthem.
Yeah, so this is their nod to the oppressed. That's basically what this is. And it's not enough. Next on the list, NFL. This is a big one. And they announced it multiple times during the game.
Commercials, big commercials.
NFL is slated to spend $250 million on social justice initiatives. The NFL is committing.
To end what they said on the commercial is to end systemic racism.
Yep.
But did you see a tweet from Mina Harris?
Nope, sure didn't.
Nope.
I'd say that's pretty close to denouncing white supremacy. Still not enough. Here's another one. There was a poet who was highlighted. She gave an original spoken poem, and she's a Marxist.
Is that why she was chosen?
I would say so, yeah.
That's why she was chosen.
Here's just a little bit about her. This is something that she told CBS this morning. Poetry is a weapon. It is an instrument of social change. And poetry is one of the most political arts out there because it demands that you rupture and destabilize the language in which you're working with. Inherently, you are pushing against the status quo. That's the proletariat pushing against the bourgeoisie. And so for me, it's always existed in that tradition of truth-telling. She said the personal is political. The fact she told the Harvard Crimson, the fact that you have the luxury as a white male to write all your poems about being lost in the woods, that you don't have to interrogate race and gender, is a political statement in and of itself. That's right. So she's absolutely Marxist, and that's still not enough. Still not enough.
And even so, and here's another one. Did you notice that the honorary captains chosen just happen to represent minorities from the oppressed class? Understand what we're trying to make is the left says it's about equality. It has nothing to do with equality.
No.
If it was about equality, then you would sing an anthem that represents all people.
Right.
How would it be? What if, oh my goodness, this would be a horrible thing. Horrible thing. But what if someone created a white national anthem and try to sing it. Oh my goodness. First off, that would be wrong.
Yeah.
Because you'd be elevating a race above the others.
Right.
And that's ridiculous. But what is it? Were the Asians mad? Why didn't they have an Asian national anthem?
Yeah.
Or the brown national anthem? You see what I'm saying? This is so strategic, and I'm going to show you how it's strategic in a moment. And here's another one. This was almost immediately followed by an ad for YouTube's Life in the Day, the previous one, documentary which featured BLM protests, images of George Floyd, a same-sex couple kissing, and a transgender woman. That is many intersections of oppression right there.
But even Tom Brady, because it was Black History Month, because he didn't forfeit the game and totally give up, and his team won, a lot of people on Twitter were saying Tom Brady's a racist. Yeah. Insane.
It is insane. So when will it be enough? It will never be enough. So is this about empowering a race or a strategy to do something else entirely? If the demands can never be met that are being set, then is this about race at all? No. They're simply exploiting race for their Marxist ends.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's not truly about race. It's not truly about injustices that have been done to our Black brothers and sisters. It's not about that. It's not about the George Floyd being murdered by that policeman. He was. It's not about that. Mm-hmm. It's not about the injustices of the past. It is about a culture being programmed, and it is about a race being exploited for the few that would benefit. This is Marxism. So I want you to know that Jesus loves all the little children of the world. Red, brown, yellow, black, and white. I'm having a flashback to Sunday school class as a kid. I feel like we need to repeat that lesson. Do you think Jesus died just for white people? Or just black people? Or just brown people? Or just any other? No, absolutely not. Jesus bled and died on that cross for all of mankind. And that's why BLM, that's why Black Lives Matter, which is not about Black Lives Mattering. It should be called Marxist for America. Because if it was really truly about injustices, and people could get behind it, but it's not. And that's why BLM is probably the most polarizing issue in today's culture, because it elevates one race above them all. And it may not be politically correct to say that, but it is biblically correct. It sets people up against other people by design. It's orchestrated. It's coordinated. That's not a grassroots movement like they want you to believe. This is carefully crafted. It's like I said, it's strategic. It's calculated to create a system in which we only view people by marking them as privileged or oppressed. And the biggest lens in which they say we are to look through is the lens of race. And from that point, it's then sex and sexual orientation and gender identity and et cetera, et cetera. They have created, implemented rather, a system in which highlights our differences rather than our similarities. That breeds class warfare. That's Marxism 101. It's like, and it's trickled down to all of us. It's like, why do I look at my Christian brother who is black as a black Christian rather than a Christian who happens to be black? You see, they've changed the way in which we view things and people. Because if you look at someone as a black Christian rather than a Christian that happens to be black, it's irrelevant to Christianity. By doing that, it's almost like you're subliminally elevating your differences higher than your similarities. Because you're saying black Christian rather than Christian. That you get what I'm saying? It's like you're elevating, like I said, the differences more than the similarities. That's strategic. And obviously the most important similarity that we can have for all of eternity is our unity in Christ for those who have accepted the free gift of salvation. You see, all are welcome to the boundless, benevolent God. Listen to this scripture. When evening came, after the sun had set, they began bringing to Jesus all those who were sick and those who were demon-possessed, and the whole city was gathered around the door. You see, all are welcome to the boundless, benevolent God. All are welcome to the table. As Jesus was having a meal in Matthew's house, many tax collectors and sinners came and ate with Jesus and his disciples. When the religious leaders saw this, they said to his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" When Jesus heard this, he said, "Those who are healthy don't need a physician, but those who are sick. Go and learn what this saying means. I want mercy, not religion. For I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners." You see, all are welcome to the table. All are welcome, clean and unclean, to the touch of Jesus. A leper came to Jesus begging him, and kneeling, he said to him, "If you choose, you can make me clean." Moved with compassion, Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him and said to him, "I choose, be made clean." And all are invited to experience his presence in heaven for all of eternity. 2 Corinthians 5:15, and he died for all, that those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and was raised again. John 3:16, for God so loved the world, all there, that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Hebrews 2:9, but we do see Jesus, who was made lower than the angels for a little while, now crowned with glory and honor because he suffered death, so that by the grace of God he might taste death for everyone. It's all. That's why Marxism is evil and stands in stark contrast, because it elevates certain classes of people above others. And let me tell you right now that if the roles were switched and I was labeled as the proletariat and the white people were trying to take over everything, I would be doing the exact same show saying, "You're wrong. If you think that you get to elevate yourself over another, you're wrong. And you're clearly not thinking like a Christian would think." Now, I do want to say this, because this is really important. The cross did not definitively save anyone, but made salvation possible for all. If you don't accept a gift, then you don't have that gift. You see, the universalists, they'd have you believe that everyone will ultimately be in heaven. That's not true. But all that call upon the name of Jesus, they will be saved. Yeah. All right, let's quickly move to the final topic. Disney Plus is The Mandalorian.
Yeah. So you probably saw this week because it was a major talking point on most conservative outlets. Gina Carano, who played one of the leads in The Mandalorian series, was fired for a post that she made on social media. And this is simply what her post said. Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views?
That's a really great quote.
She's absolutely right. She's 100% right. And that's 100% what is happening. And what was so confusing, well, I guess not confusing, predictable, is that it was labeled anti-Semitic. So if they want to get rid of you, they just call you racist and wash their hands.
Which is so crazy, because if you read what she said, if anything, it was actually the opposite end. She was sympathizing with the Jews, not being anti-Semitic. It's so stupid.
And it's such a strong stance to take. This is what a spokesperson said. Her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. So Disney and the woke mob went ahead and just proved her point. She basically said, in today's age, if you have the wrong views, the wrong political views, you'll get thrown out in the street and tarred and feathered, and you'll be canceled and fired from your job.
And that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. And the irony is that Pedro Pascal, who plays...
who's that?
He plays the lead character.
Oh, he's Mando.
He's the Mandalorian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is the Star Wars TV show, wildly popular this year and last. Okay. And maybe if you're under 50, maybe you don't know what it is.
Yeah. But it's big.
Now my parents, they know what it is. They're fans. But it's huge. I mean, not many. You have like little baby Yoda, and his name in the show is called Grogu. No, most shows aren't popular enough that people are literally going and buying the characters and putting them on their Christmas trees as ornaments. I mean, this was a crazy popular series.
So she got fired for comparing basically the political left to Nazis. And which is so ironic because Pedro Pascal, like we said, who's the lead character, in 2018 posted this post. It's a tweet comparing kids being detained on the border to Nazi concentration camps.
Oh, so you can.
You can
make the comparison. Right. You just have to be on the right team.
And that was like
on the left team, rather.
And that was like 3 years ago, but he posted something else on Twitter right after the election comparing Trump supporters and people who are part of the MAGA movement to Nazis and to the Confederacy.
It's unreal. Absolutely unreal.
Yeah.
Listen, we are totally out of time for today's show. If you're watching on CTN, I want you to know that our shows are typically longer than 28:30s, which that's the industry standard, a half-hour show, sorry. We call them 28:30s. So if you ever want to watch the whole show, go to our Facebook, type in ZachDrewShow.com or Zach Drew Show, or go to Rumble. We are on YouTube right now, temporarily. Who knows how long until we get kicked off. But if you ever want to watch our entire show, make sure you go to our social media platforms. For those of you that are watching on social media, hey, you get the full show. So thanks. I don't know. I mean, you get the full show. So we're totally out of time for today's program. We'll see you next week.